What year is it? 2019. Don't move. Keep listening. I'm just messing with y'all. Welcome to my first ever podcast. It does currently not have a name, but give me some suggestions in the comments. Awesome. So I want to start by saying I don't care. I don't care about how little views this gets. I'm doing this just for fun, which is something I usually don't do. Normally I'll make content you like, but which is something I can have fun in making. This isn't. This is 100% fun. Now I got that out of my heart. Let's start with a story, since I don't have any guests here. This is a real story, by the way. So this whole story happened back in 7th grade. So I was a pretty quiet kid. I would get into trouble sometimes, but I wasn't really a bully. And this story is about a new kid that came into my class. So I went to school on a normal day, and there was a student, let's call him Dylan. He was the new kid. He was kind of troubled, I think. He came from other schools where he got kicked out and expelled. And there was a lot of fights, and he did not pay attention in class. And I can relate to that sometimes, but I don't get into brutal fights. He did. So we got along really quickly, and then he suddenly started being mean to me, and I don't care. When people are mean to me, I'll just, phase through it, and I understood that he had some issues like anger problems and stuff like that. But on this day, I was just not having it. I was kind of having a bad morning, I guess. I had arguing with my dad, and things was just messed up. So at school, he was being really mean to me. So I was in class, and it's a pretty small class. It was like 12 people in it with his friends and stuff like that. He stood up. He wanted to throw some paper in the garbage, but he just whipped it at my face. It hit me in the eye, and I got really mad, and I was like, dude, can you stop? And he was like, oh, you got a little pussy here, mad little pussy. And I was like, okay, alright, dude, you know what, I'm just gonna breathe, I'm just gonna calm down. And then he threw another one, and then I was like, okay, this is why no one fucking loves you. And he got so pissed when I said that. I don't know why I said that, to be honest. That's really messed up to say, but at that time I was really toxic, and I was kind of a cruel kid. So it's like, no one loves me, that's why I get pussy. It's like, bitch, haven't seen a pussy since the day came out. He was like, I'm gonna fuck you up, we can take this outside. And of course the teacher's like, guys, cut it out, cut it out. He's like, yeah, King, cut it out before I beat the fuck out of you. And his friend starts to laugh, and I'm like, whatever, dude, fuck you. So the day went on, and after that, nothing else happened. So later in the night, I got a message on Insta saying, fight me after school, 4:30. I was like, little motherfucker, that's from Dylan. I was like, okay. So I replied, I was like, no. Because to be honest, I knew this kid, he's a nutcase. Like, he's the kind of kid that will stab me or something. So I was like, I'm not gonna do that. So I replied, no, fuck you. He's like, oh, you're a little like, you won't fight me. And he was like, you're really gonna fight me? Like, you won't fight me. I'll get jumped by your whole squad, and you're gonna bring some weapons and stuff. Like, you're crazy. He was like, oh, that's not a good excuse, pussy. I'm like, look, if it's a one-on-one and we meet somewhere, just me and you and someone that's cool with both of us, I'm down. But if you're gonna me to all your place and never gonna beat the shit out of me, I'm just not gonna do it. And he was like, alright, we'll just catch you at school, pussy. I used to be a pussy like you. And when he said that, I got mad. Like, I usually classic Xbox Live reply. I replied like, dude, I get enough of that stuff by smashing your mom every night. Like, that's the craziest thing I look back that I have ever said, to be honest. Like, saying that's the cringiest thing I would probably say to someone. But it worked. He got so mad. He replied, no one talks to my fucking mom like that. Like, he said it in all caps. So I'm guessing he was like really mad. Like, that's how he know they were mad, just all cap. And then he was like, don't come to school tomorrow. And I think to myself like, okay, wait a minute, that could be like one or two things. That's either him threatening to beat my ass, which I was guessing it was, or something more intense. I got kind of nervous when he said that. Like, everything else I wasn't too scared, but when someone says don't come to school tomorrow, you don't know what's going through their head or what they're planning to do. So I was like, what's that supposed to mean? And he just blocked me. I was like, oh man, well, he's probably gonna stab me tomorrow. I'm like, no, I'm gonna walk in and I'm just gonna face it. And in the morning, I was like, I gave my mom an extra long hug in the morning before I go to school, because I was not gonna skip school. Like, if I did, my mom would be so pissed. So I went to school, and within 5 minutes I see him and his like whole crew walking towards me in the hallway. And I'm like, well, I'm at my locker, so I look over and I shut the locker. I'm like staring at them coming up to me, and he's just like, we're gonna do this. And I was like, do what? He's like, you know, I said I have to catch you at school tomorrow. Told not to come today, but you came, so we have to fight. I was like, alright. I mean, I guess this is how it's gonna go, okay? So I put my backpack down, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get my ass beat. Because he's with his entire crew. Like, it's him and 5 other people. So I'm just guessing that they're gonna jump me and beat the shit out of me. And I'm just prepared to get beaten up. And then I see him pull his backpack off and unzip it. And he whips out like this weird shaped thing that kind of looked like a strap. Like the kind of strap he would have on his shoulders. But it has something on the outside of it. And it was, firstly I thought this dude was pulling out the gun. I actually thought this guy was pulling out the gun. Like, I was so nervous. I was like, what? And then he unravels it, and it's the belt. It has thumbstacks on it on one side that he's holding towards me. Like, it's literally a full-blown belt with needles on it. It pretty much whipped me with it in this fight. What the f is that? He's like, I told not to talk about my mom, man. Where up? And I'm thinking to myself, what kind of prison stuff is this? I'm in the middle of school. What the f? This is like it's a prison fight. Like, this dude just made weapons out of a belt and a thumbstack. Right, so as I'm about to pretty much take this beat, and some teacher comes out of nowhere and gets in the middle of us, and he's like, what's going on, you? What is that? And he points at the belt, and the kid is like, oh, just my belt. And he was also pretending to put it on, but he couldn't do it because he's wearing sweatpants. So that was like the worst excuse. And the teacher just looks at me and goes like, King, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know, this is just bullshit. And he's like, both of us to the office now. And I'm like, alright. So we follow him up, and then there goes security first. They search him, they search me, they confiscate this belt. And we started talking to the principal, and sure, he ended up saying why he had the belt. Yeah, I brought it into school, I was gonna fight him with it. And she's like, why would you do that? That could seriously hurt him. Which is something it could. It was legit a studded belt with needles on it to the other side to whip me with. I don't want to know what I would look like after he would whip me with it. Probably shredded cheese. But yeah, he admitted it, and he got suspended for like 2 weeks. And he tried to make the argument about me talking about his mom and that it's okay what he did or what he was gonna do. But no, like, he brings a belt with thumbstacks on it in a fight because someone talked about his mom. Like, that's the most fucked part about this story. And what's even crazier, a year after this, someone brought a belt and glued batteries to it. Like, someone was using it also in the fight, which I was also involved in. Like, what kind of prison is this? Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this story. It's probably not a good podcast since this is my first podcast ever, but hey, there's always space for improvement, so make sure to subscribe. Thank you for listening.